Hey everybody, Scout Crafter here. We're going to be working on a Embury lantern. I like these style lanterns, and I just received it today. You can see the shape it's in. It's pretty rusty. The pitting isn't too bad. It's got a couple dents in it, so we're not going to go crazy. We're going to make this a user lantern. But the first thing we're going to do, you have to see if it leaks. That's important. You don't want to fill it with kerosene, have that leaking all over. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill it with vinegar and let it sit overnight. The reason we do it with vinegar is because then you could tell right away if it's leaking. You'll smell it or see it. I'll put on some cardboard. You can see what the bottom looks like. I guess it was tin and it may be painted. At one time these usually were satin black, or they usually called these caboose lanterns. They would put these on the back of cabooses. But we'll see what it looks like. First, we're going to fill it with vinegar, and we'll pick it up in the morning. Well, we used 2 gallons of distilled vinegar. We put the lantern in, let it soak for 24 hours. These bottles are just to fill up, to take some space so that the vinegar will come up to level, so we didn't have to use any extra. One of these copper scouring pads, and we've been scrubbing, we've been pulling this up every once in a while, but you could see we got a good amount of the rust off of here, and we're still working with it. We're going to hit it a couple more times with the scouring pad, miss any rust that we have, and it's coming off nice. And you could see now that the lantern looked really bad, but you could see that you can make it out that it's coming off better and better. Let's see what the bottom looks like. Unfortunately, the lantern leaks a little bit, but we'll take care of that. That's no problem. It is structurally sound, so it's not rotten through. I got some, I think it's POR 15, is it? That the tank sealer coming in the mail. But you can see it's coming good, so I'm going to let this soak. These are important too, these gloves. You know, the vinegar really starts to stink. But I'm going to put this in here. Again, those containers are just so that the fluid rises above the lantern, keeps it covered. I'm going to put it in here for another 6 or so hours. Then I'm going to come back with the new scouring pad, and we'll come back then. After a 48-hour bath in vinegar, we took some baking soda and we put it into some hot water and let this soak for a couple hours to neutralize the acid. And this is what we have now. We have this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Basically, you can see most of the rust is gone. What we have to do now is we have to dry it out really good and wipe it down with alcohol, and then we'll prep it. Okay, we dried the lantern off. We took it over to the wire brush a little bit, got some of the scaling that we couldn't get off before, and then we hit it with this like a Scotch-Brite pad, but this brand is called Spontex, and but they're all the same, Scotch-Brite, but you can't get the ones at the supermarket like this. These just don't have enough. They're lightweight, light duty. You got to get the heavy duty, coarse type. And you could see what it does by getting into the grooves and everything. It takes off a lot. What you'll have is you'll have an instant surface rust that occurs. They call that like flash rusting. And here's the gas cap. I didn't touch it yet. So that's what it's going to look like when you just take it out. You're going to get that flash rust. But if you just take, and I'll show you here, just using a little bit of that Scotch, you can see how quick that'll take off that rust. And then once you have that rust, we go to our next step. Okay, when you're satisfied you got most of the rust and the scaling off that you can get off, inside and out, what you want to do is, we'll open this up to show you what it looks like. We got a good amount. You know, there's always going to be a little bit you can't get to, but we got a good amount of it off, especially the bottom. It's mostly clean. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe it down with isopropyl alcohol. We're going to spray it down, wipe it with that, and then we're going to wipe it down with distilled alcohol before our next step. We're going to pour some in the tank, make sure that there's no moisture or anything in the tank. And we're going to start later. Here comes the fun part. We wiped it down with alcohol and denatured alcohol. Now everything's nice and clean. What we're going to do is we're going to take this rag here and we're going to apply bullseye shellac. That's always what I use as my go-to primer. I love that stuff. I'm just going to wipe it on. Nice clean coat all the way around, the bottom, the base, and then that will coat it, stop it from rusting, and give it a primer. which will be ready for paint. So let's get that done. Okay, it's been about 2 days later. Here's where we're at. What we did was we took and getting this tank cleaned out was a pain because of, you know, this uses kerosene and lamp oil and things like that. So it was you got to stick your finger in there, and anytime you come up with anything green, you got to get rid of that. So what I did was I used all kinds of degreaser, put some chain in there, swished it around, kept doing it until this thing came out squeaky clean. Once it came out squeaky clean, I used POR 15 fuel tank sealer. I put some in, rolled it around, poured it out, and then let it dry. And I did that 2 times. Once I left sit for like 48 hours, almost 50 hours or so. And then I put another coat in. That's been sitting for 24. It is beautiful. Now, just to see how this stuff works, I took a cup. I punched a bunch of pinholes in the bottom. I poured what residual POR 15 I had in a cup in here. And overnight, I tested this. I just had water in it sitting there. It is totally sealed. So this stuff works. Then I took some flame. I have this high heat spray paint that I just did the top here. This is what holds the globe in. I did that. And I did this bottom area here. And I only did that because that's where the flame, you know, where it gets really hot. This is the burner assembly. Took it apart. This is a felt wick, and it was in good shape. I just trimmed it a little bit, and it works well. There's even a little oil hole here, if you could see it. See that little oil hole that you can oil it and keep that wheel nice. But I had to take all this down, and you know, this was all rusted. I cleaned it up and then shellacked it, and that's good to go. So now we're ready for paint. I'm going to seal all this the high heat paint up with some cardboard and tape, and then I'm going to start spraying this now with regular paint after I wipe it down with mineral spirits to make sure there's no oils or fingerprints or anything on there. Now I'm going to start painting it. Well, it's been about 4 days. The paint's all cured. The tank is all cured. The POR 15. You remember this was the high heat. This is a spring in here. This holds the globe, and that's what holds it in place. This little spring in here. Lubed everything up. The wick and the wick adjuster works really beautiful. Oil that. Now you take the, this isn't the correct lens or globe, but this is one we'll have to use. We'll put the globe in here. It's a Dietz globe. Then we close this off in the spring. As we push it down, it'll lock in, and this is the finished product. Now, I have a decal that would normally go over here, but I'm going to use this outdoors a lot, and I'm saving the decal for this restoration because this one had no rust on it, just some extra paint, but that's the one the decal is going to go on. These are the brackets, the bracket that you can hold it and put it on, but I'm going to make my own bracket. But we gave it about 3 or 4 coats of gray. The reason I did gray is because the first one I ever saw of these was in a dark gray. And, you know, you're never going to get rid of some of the pitting. You're never going to get rid of that. But this is, like I said, going to be an outdoor light. It's going to be used all the time. So I wanted to make it that it lasts. So now the only thing we have to do is fill it with kerosene and let it sit for an hour or two. Make sure there's no leaks, and then we'll fire it up. Now, if you remember what it looked like when we first got the lantern, she was pretty rough, but I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Some of the pitting, again, it's very difficult. You can look at the top here and you'll see this, it was pretty solidly rusted up on the top, and here we got it down to it's very well protected. We took it down to bare metal, and you can see by the bottom this was pretty rough, but now hopefully this lantern will last for another 15 or 20 years, and I won't have to worry about it, so that's pretty good. Okay, we have success, no leaks, everything's working fine. You know, this is the Embury model 25. It's a dead flame, so you can see it's just meant for a mark or a barricade lantern. This is an old Dietz Wizard, and here is a Chinese Kirkman, that little giant. But I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I'll be using this upstate just as a marker lamp. It's came out nice, works good. These things will run a long time because, like I said, it is a dead flame, uses a 1/4 inch wick. And that's it for the restoration. So hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a nice day.